Captain Lena Reyes stood on the bright observation deck of the luxury cruise ship Eos Rising, her gaze fixed on the pale blue planet below. Arcadia Prime floated beneath her like a gem. All around, passengers in crisp uniforms laughed and chatted, excited by the view. To Lena, however, the calm of space always felt alive with possibility. She loved the quiet hum of the engines and the soft glow of shield lights as the ship drifted above a new world. As the vessel slipped into orbit, the ship's communications officer, Lieutenant Omar Chen, tapped Lena gently on the shoulder. "Captain, you need to see this," he said, voice low with wonder. On the central holoscreen, a delicate, shifting pattern of light appeared. It traced fine lines across the empty blackness between ships. Lena stepped forward. The lights coalesced into a single, clear image, a floating crystal circle, filaments of light extending like threads into space. In the center, glowing letters formed one simple, elegant question: "Will you dance with me, human?" Blanca Vega, the ship's cultural liaison, gasped. It was an invitation unlike any other. The bridge fell silent as the full meaning sank in. No demand, no threat, just an offer to dance. In all her years of negotiation, Lena had never received so graceful a greeting. It spoke of art, of peace, of curiosity. She pressed her hand gently on the console. "Open a channel," she ordered. Instantly, the holoscreen bloomed, revealing the larger view. An enormous structure, smooth and silver, with gentle curves and glowing windows set like stars. It hovered next to the Eos Rising like a silent partner awaiting a waltz. The ship's sensors hummed as they collected data. No weapons, no signs of aggression, only beauty and calm. With a steady breath, Lena addressed the unknown. "I am Captain Lena Reyes of the Eos Rising. I accept your invitation." Her voice echoed through the bridge. Her heart thumped with excitement. The crew exchanged glances, a ripple of smiles passing among them. Hope, Lena knew, was a rare but powerful force. On the holoscreen, a new projection appeared, a graceful, silver-filamented hand extending toward them. Each tendril of light pulsed with gentle warmth. The words beneath it read, "Welcome. Prepare to step onto the orbital ballroom." Minutes later, the docking clamps locked with a soft chime. The hangar doors on the alien vessel opened, revealing a corridor lit by softly glowing panels. Lena, dressed in her dress uniform and simple dancing shoes, led a small team across the threshold. Her boots clicked on the polished floor, a human sound in an alien world. As she walked, Lena felt a thrill in her chest. She thought of Earth's great halls of music and dance, the grand ballrooms of old cities, the crowded dance floors under neon lights. Here, among the stars, she would share that human love for movement and rhythm. She would answer the question with every step she took. And so, with steady grace, Captain Lena Reyes entered the unknown, ready to dance with the alien host, and to build a bridge of friendship where no one had danced before. Captain Lena Reyes stepped off the Eos Rising airlock and into a long corridor glowing with soft blue light. The walls curved gently overhead, like the inside of a great shell. She paused to let her eyes adjust. Every surface shone as if polished by starlight. A quiet hum filled the air, and faint patterns of glowing vines crawled along the floor, pulsing in time with the ship's life signs. Lieutenant Omar Chen followed close behind, carrying a portable translator device. Cultural liaison Blanca Vega brought up the rear, her face alight with wonder. Lena took a deep breath, steadying herself. She had prepared for first contact with many alien races, but nothing had ever felt as warm and welcoming as this. At the end of the corridor, a pair of tall, slender figures emerged. Their skin sparkled with tiny flecks of light, like distant galaxies. Each wore a flowing robe that shifted color from violet to emerald as they moved. One stepped forward and inclined their head in a graceful bow. "Welcome, Captain Reyes," the figure said. Their voice was musical, each word rising and falling like a gentle song. "I am Ambassador Tilar of the Xiron Collective. We have awaited your arrival. Lena inclined her own head in return. Thank you, Ambassador. It is an honor to be here. Tilar raised a hand, and a holographic map bloomed between them. It showed a vast, ring-shaped city floating in the planet's upper atmosphere, connected by glass-like walkways and gardens drifting on currents of gas. Tiny ships glided in and out of docking bays, their trails resembling glowing comets. This is Lumna Spire, Tilar explained, voice soft with pride. Our orbital capital. Every visitor here is a guest of our queen. Please, allow me to guide you to the reception gardens. They walked together down the corridor and emerged onto a wide balcony. Below them stretched a garden of floating platforms, each covered with strange, glowing plants that swayed as if breathing. Streams of silver mist drifted between tree-like structures, and delicate crystal bridges arched over pools of liquid light. Blanca reached out to touch a large leaf that glowed like a lantern. It felt warm and smooth beneath her fingertips. It's beautiful, she whispered. Tilar smiled. These are the aerith blooms. They open only for special occasions. Tonight, they grow for you. Omar pointed to the horizon, where Arcadia Prime's sunset painted the gas clouds in shades of rose and gold. How do you sustain such gardens in space? The ambassador gestured upward. Tiny drones hummed overhead, scattering a fine, glowing dust. Our gardeners are not bound by gravity. We feed the gardens with stardust and light. Here, even the air is alive with energy. Lena felt excitement spark in her chest. Every step she took revealed new wonders. They crossed a glass bridge that chimed like a bell underfoot. The glass felt cool, but she hardly noticed. Her mind raced with anticipation for the dance ahead. At the far end of the gardens, a grand archway formed of intertwined crystal branches marked the entrance to the ballroom annex. The branches pulsed gently in greeting. As Lena approached, the archway parted, revealing the huge circular room bathed in soft white light. She paused at the threshold, heart pounding. Ambassador Tilar placed a reassuring hand on her shoulder. This way, Captain. The Queen awaits. With a steady breath and a bright smile, Lena stepped into the annex and into the next chapter of this remarkable encounter. Captain Lena Reyes paused at the threshold of the ballroom annex and let her eyes take in the sight. The room was a vast circle, its ceiling arched like a giant pearl. Light settled softly on every surface, as if the very air glowed. Around the room, rows of benches carved from pale crystal were filled with Xiron nobles. Their forms shimmered in gentle hues, lavender, silver, rose, each color pulsing like a heartbeat. At the center of the chamber, on a raised dais of swirling light, stood Queen Mirasha. Her skin was as smooth as polished moonstone, and her hair flowed in silver filaments that floated like fine mist. She wore a gown woven from threads of living starlight, shifting through soft blues and greens. In her hands, she held a delicate staff tipped with a single radiant gem. Lena felt a thrill of awe. Here was the ruler of the Xiron Collective, the one who had sent the invitation. Every eye in the room turned to the human captain. Although Lena stood alone, she carried the pride of all humankind in her straight posture and calm gaze. Ambassador Tilar stepped forward. Your Majesty, Captain Lena Reyes of Earth has arrived. They intoned, voice echoing like gentle wind chimes. She has accepted your invitation to dance. Queen Mirasha inclined her head in greeting. Her eyes, pools of liquid starlight, regarded Lena with both curiosity and warmth. In that gaze, Lena sensed both the weight of history and the thrill of discovery. Welcome, Captain Reyes, the Queen said, her voice a soft melody that filled the room. Your presence honors us. Will you join me at the Dance of Unity? Lena took a steady breath. The Dance of Unity was more than a social ritual. It was a sacred ceremony that bound the dancer to the host in friendship and trust. She felt the eyes of the Xiron people upon her, waiting to see the human heart in motion. With a confident nod, she answered, I would be honored, Your Majesty. The Queen smiled. and for a moment, the entire room brightened, as if the light itself rejoiced. From hidden speakers, a gentle hum rose, weaving itself into the soft rustle of Mirasha's gown. The floor beneath them glimmered, tracing a circle of glowing lines that pulsed in welcoming rhythm. Two attendants, each dressed in robes of translucent crystal, stepped forward and handed Lena a narrow sash of stardust silk. The sash felt cool and smooth in her hands. "Wear this," one attendant whispered, "so that your movements may join our own." Lena fastened the sash over her uniform, its ends trailing like ribbons of light. She placed one hand over her heart, then extended her other hand toward the queen. Mirasha accepted it, her touch gentle and warm, and guided Lena to the center of the glowing circle. As their joined hands rose, the pulsing lines on the floor began to swirl. Music, softer than any sound Lena had ever heard, filled the space. It was not a simple melody, but a tapestry of harmonies, each note resonating inside her chest. She could feel the music in every fiber of her being. Across the benches, the dignitaries watched in respectful silence. No flash of cameras, no murmurs, only stillness, as if the whole world held its breath. And in that moment, Captain Lena Reyes and Queen Mirasha stood together, two beings from different worlds, ready to dance the first steps of a new friendship. Captain Lena Reyes stood in the center of the ballroom annex, the glow of the pulsing floor warming her boots. Queen Mirasha held out a hand and nodded toward a floating holo platform that shimmered above the ground. From its core, soft lights spread in curved lines that formed the shape of a dancing figure. Two attendants stepped forward and pressed small controls on the platform's rim. The holo figure came to life, an elegant silver silhouette that moved with slow, graceful steps. Its arms arched like comets, legs pivoted like planetary orbits, and its whole body seemed to flow in harmony with some unseen cosmic rhythm. "Watch carefully," whispered Tilar, standing beside Lena. "This is the first sequence. We call it the Stellar Waltz. Each movement honors the birth of a star." Lena leaned forward, her breath steady. She watched the figure trace a smooth circle with its feet, then sweep its arms overhead in a wide arc. The holo dancer paused, feet together, and spun on its heel. Finally, it bowed low, as if greeting the galaxy itself. The queen's translator emitted soft chimes. "Now, repeat," Mirasha invited, her voice warm and patient. Lena took a careful step forward. She placed her left foot where the holo figure had placed its right, then mimicked the gentle arm sweep. Her uniform felt tight across her shoulders, but she moved with care. Her second step missed the precise circle, but she caught herself with a small hop that felt more human than alien. Almost, the queen in courage, her starlight gown rippling like sea foam. "Feel the flow of light beneath you. Let it guide your steps." Lena closed her eyes for a moment and remembered the dance halls of Earth. She felt the music in her chest, like a heartbeat. She imagined the floor pulsing and responding to her. When she opened her eyes, she moved again. Her feet traced a cleaner circle. Her arms rose in a softer arc. She spun, more balanced this time, her dress shoes clicking lightly on the glowing floor. Then she paused and bowed, only her head, not her whole body. A small grin spread across her face. "That is very good," said Tilar, eyes bright. Now the second sequence, the nebula flow. The holo figure changed. Its lines blurred and stretched like gas clouds. It moved in a series of gentle waves, feet sliding, torsos tilting, arms weaving in and out. The effect was like watching a nebula drift through space. Lena studied the pattern. She felt the chill of space around her, the faint hum of distant suns. She stepped forward and guided her body through the first wave. She felt her ankle slip slightly on the smooth floor, but the sash of stardust silk held firm, a silent promise of connection. By the third attempt, she traced the fluid curves with growing confidence. The floor lights shifted to a softer blue-green where her boots met the surface. She felt as if she were part of the dance, not just copying it. Queen Mirasha nodded approvingly. "You learn quickly, Captain." Lena bowed her head. "Your people's dance is beautiful," she replied. The Queen smiled, and the holo platform faded. Two attendants stepped forward, offering Lena a small crystal device. "This will help you practice," they explained. "It stores the sequences. You may review them in 0G or on your own ship." Lena accepted the device with gratitude. As she looked around at the glowing dancers and the astonished faces of her crew, she realized that each graceful step brought her closer to an extraordinary friendship, one born not of words, but of shared movement under the stars. Captain Lena Reyes stood beside Queen Mirasha at the center of the glowing circle. The soft music of the Tyron filled the air, a gentle melody that felt like warm light. Around them, the pulsing floor traced patterns of gold and silver. The audience of Tyron nobles watched in respectful silence, their eyes shining like distant stars. Mirasha lifted her hand. The floor lights stilled, then began to move in slow spirals. "Shall we begin?" she asked in her soft, melodic voice. Lena nodded, heart beating fast. She placed her hand in the Queen's and felt a warm spark as their fingers touched. The stardust sash around her waist fluttered like a ribbon in a soft breeze. She took a deep breath and let the music guide her. Their first step was in sync. 1, 2, glide. The floor lights followed them, tracing their path in silver. Lena felt the Queen's grace as Mirasha led with gentle confidence. Lena matched each step, placing her feet lightly, as if she might float away. On their third move, Lena added a small human flourish. She spun lightly on her heel, just as she had practiced on Earth in her childhood. She felt the floor respond. A bright flare of gold bloomed beneath her boot, surprising the audience. For a moment, the lights around the room pulsed faster, as if the ballroom itself was applauding her style. Mirasha paused and smiled, her starlight gown rippling like gentle waves. Then she guided Lena into the next sequence, a series of side steps that flowed like waves. Lena followed, gliding smoothly from left to right. The floor changed from gold to soft blue-green beneath their feet. The audience leaned forward, their faces alight. Even the tall crystal columns along the walls seemed to glow more brightly. Lena felt a rush of pride. She was sharing her own spark of creativity, and that Tyron welcomed it. As the dance deepened, the music grew richer. Low, humming tones joined the melody. Lena and Mirasha moved together in a small circle. Lena rested her head lightly against the Queen's shoulder. She could feel a gentle pulse in Mirasha's touch, like the heart of a star. Then came the final step, a lift. Mirasha raised one arm, and Lena followed, her feet leaving the glowing circle for a brief, weightless moment. The floor lights blurred into a halo around them. Lena felt the cool air against her skin as she floated, just for a breath, before settling back down in perfect harmony. The melody faded into a soft echo. The lights on the floor stilled. Lena and Mirasha bowed to each other, hands still joined. The audience rose to their feet in silent applause. The crystal benches tinkled softly, like wind chimes in a gentle breeze. Lena looked into the Queen's liquid starlight eyes and saw approval and warmth. She smiled, her chest full of joy. She had danced with an alien queen and had helped create something new. As the crowd's applause swelled, Lena knew this moment would live forever in her memory. It was more than a dance. It was a bridge between worlds, built on trust, art, and the simple, shared joy of moving together under the stars. Captain Lena Reyes and Queen Mirasha stood at the center of the glowing ballroom, their breathing soft, and even as the lights around them faded to a gentle silver. For a heartbeat, the Queen maintained their joined hands, and the music paused, leaving only the quiet hum of the ship's life systems. Then, without warning, Lena felt a sudden warmth spread through her chest. It was not the heat of the ballroom lights, but something deeper, like an echo of another heartbeat. She looked up at Mirasha and saw the Queen's eyes shining brighter than before, as if filled with starlight. In an instant, Lena knew she was sharing thoughts with the queen. She felt the soft rustle of living crystal forests, the gentle sway of glowing vines under an alien sun, and the distant song of siren skies. Memories floated through her mind. The first time Asha danced with her people, the joy of creating beauty together, the hope that friendship between worlds could grow. Lena's own memories rose to the surface. She saw herself as a child, spinning barefoot on her family's porch under Earth's summer sky. She felt the laughter of her first dance class, the thrill of learning a new step, the pride of performing in her home city's grand theater. She smelled the scent of polished wood floors and heard the soft scrape of her shoes. A gentle voice echoed in Lena's mind. Though it had no words, it spoke clearly. "I honor your world, human. Your joy moves me." Lena felt tears gather at the corners of her eyes. She clasped the queen's hand tighter, sending back her own message. "I honor yours." Around them, the audience watched in respectful silence, unaware of the silent exchange. To the Chiron nobles, it looked like a pause in the ceremony. Yet for Lena and Asha, this moment transcended any dance or ritual. It was a true meeting of hearts. When the warmth subsided, Lena and the queen both inhaled softly, as if waking from a beautiful dream. Asha gave a small nod, and the faintest smile curved her lips. Lena returned the nod, her smile bright with tenderness. The ballroom lights brightened again, and the music resumed, a soft, rising melody that felt richer than before. But for Lena, the world had changed. She knew the secrets of crystal forests and stardust gardens. She had shared her own memories of Earth's forests and sunlit fields. In that exchange, they had formed a bond stronger than words. As the next dance sequence began, Lena felt renewed confidence. Every step she took carried the weight of shared memories and new understanding. She led the queen in a gentle turn, their movements reflecting both Chiron grace and human passion. The lights on the floor responded, weaving silver and earth-brown patterns that glowed warmly beneath their feet. In that moment, Captain Lena Reyes and Queen Asha danced not just as diplomats, but as friends. The memory of their shared heartbeat, one alien, one human, would guide the future of their worlds, proving that even across galaxies, connection grows from the simple act of opening one's heart. After their shared moment, Captain Lena Reyes and Queen Asha continued their dance as the ballroom annex gently transformed around them. The crystal walls dissolved into a shimmering mist, and the floor beneath became transparent, revealing a vast dome overhead made of living crystal. Above them, the dome projected images of both worlds. On one side, Earth's green forests and silver oceans spun slowly. On the other, Chiron's glowing seas and floating gardens drifted in starlit skies. The two panoramas met in the center, blending into a moving tapestry of color and light. Lena stepped carefully, her boots whispering on the smooth surface. She watched as the Earth images shifted. Childhood memories of her first dance recital appeared in soft focus. Polished wooden floors, bright stage lights, cheering families. In a heartbeat, the scene dissolved into Earth's rainforests, mist drifting among ancient trees, birds calling overhead. Beside her, Queen Asha watched the same images, her eyes reflecting Earth's blues and greens. Then the dome turned to show Chiron's history, the birth of their home star, a blazing orb of white light that pulsed like a heartbeat. Lena gasped as waves of stardust curled into shape, forming the first Chiron city, its spires rising from a glowing gas sea. Asha placed her hand on Lena's arm. Through their shared connection, Lena felt a rush of pride from the queen's memories. The joy of building their first floating garden, the awe of watching the first aerith blooms open in space, the hope they felt when sending the dance invitation to Earth. As the dome continued, Lena saw her own people's triumphs. The first human steps on Mars, the launch of interstellar probes, the diversity of human cultures gathered under one flag. She felt hope surge in her chest. Earth was small compared to Xiron, but its people carried courage and creativity in every heart. The projections merged once more, showing both worlds side by side. Forests met gardens, oceans touched gas seas, human dancers and Xiron dancers moved together in a graceful ballet. The music swelled, its gentle notes weaving both Earth's rhythmic drums and Xiron's melodic chimes. Mirasha spoke softly, her voice carrying through Lena's mind. Our histories are written in different stars, but our dreams are the same. Lena nodded, tears glinting like dew in her eyes. We both seek beauty. We both reach for connection. The dome's light dimmed, leaving only a single star projected above them. It pulsed in time with their shared heartbeat. Lena felt her spirit lift. She realized this ceremony was more than a dance. It was a promise that their worlds would learn from each other, grow together, and face the universe hand in hand. As the crystal dome faded back into the familiar glow of the ballroom, the audience breathed a single collective sigh of wonder. Lena and Mirasha released hands and bowed to each other. Around them, the nobles rose in quiet applause, their expressions full of respect and hope. Captain Lena Reyes straightened her shoulders, her heart full. She knew this moment would stand as a turning point, not just in her life, but in the history of two great civilizations. And as she walked with the Queen toward the banquet hall, she carried with her a vision of a future where Earth and Xiron danced together among the stars. Captain Lena Reyes stood in the grand hall beside Queen Mirasha. The guests had moved to the banquet gardens, leaving the ballroom annex open and empty. Soft lights still pulsed on the floor, tracing the circle where Lena and Mirasha had danced. The Queen turned to Lena, her eyes bright with inspiration. "I feel a new song," Mirasha said. Her voice was like wind through crystal, one that blends our steps and hearts. Lena smiled. She felt it too. In their shared dance, they had created something new. She spread her arms, as if inviting the stars themselves. "Let us shape it now," she answered. At that moment, the holo platform reappeared. Instead of the standard teaching figure, it showed two silhouettes, one human, one Xiron. The human figure moved with bold, quick steps. The Xiron figure flowed in long, curved lines. Between them, the floor lights traced both styles, side by side. Queen Mirasha and Lena stepped forward together. They met at the platform's edge. "Follow me," the Queen whispered, "and lead me." Lena placed her hand on the Queen's. The first move came from Earth, a quick spin and a small hop. Mirasha followed, turning with grace but imbuing the movement with her own soft elegance. The lights under Lena glowed bronze. Under Mirasha, they glowed pale blue. Where their steps overlapped, a new gold-green light appeared. Next, the Queen led. She moved her arms in a slow arc, like a wave of stardust. Lena mirrored the shape, but then added a slight dip and sway of her hips. The holo platform recorded every nuance. The floor lights rippled in response, creating a shifting pattern that looked like a living painting. Around them, the crystal walls reflected their movements. The glowing vines carved soft shapes in the air. Guests watched from the balcony above, leaning over the railing in silent awe. Students from both worlds recorded data on small devices, eager to share this new art with their teachers. Lena and Mirasha continued, step by step, blending human rhythm and Xiron flow. Each time they mixed styles, the holo platform paused the recording to display the combined move. On one side of the room, a group of Xiron musicians began to hum a new chord progression. On the other side, human violinists softly joined in. The melody rose, soft and bright. The two dancers reached the final move. A gentle lift where Lena raised her arm and Mirasha followed with a graceful bow. As they completed the lift, the floor lights flared in a burst of white light that slowly faded into a calm green. In that moment, the new dance was born. The queen stepped back and clapped her hands in delight. Lena laughed, breathless and joyful. The holo platform displayed the final sequence on all walls, showing the world this new art form, the Unity Dance. From the balcony, Ambassador Tilar called down, "A new tradition begins today." The nobles cheered. Below, students bowed to their teachers, eager to learn. Lena and Mirasha stood together in the center of the circle. Hand in hand, they watched as the first dancers, humans and Siron alike, stepped into the pattern. Each step they took made the lights glow brighter. In that shining hall, under the watch of two worlds, a new art was born. It was a dance of friendship, of shared dreams, and of hope for the stars. And at its heart stood Captain Lena Reyes and Queen Mirasha, pioneers of something no one could have imagined until that very moment. After the birth of the Unity Dance, Captain Lena Reyes and Queen Mirasha left the glowing dance floor and entered the banquet gardens. The air was warm and scented with sweet alien blossoms that glowed softly under the dome of living crystal. Long tables curved through floating platforms, each set with dishes unknown to human eyes. Crystal bowls held aerith fruits that sang when bitten, their juices bubbling like tiny stars. Next to them, earth grapes dusted with stardust fizzed on the tongue with gentle sweetness. Lena tasted one and laughed at the soft pop that echoed in her mouth. Around the tables, humans and Siron alike shared food and stories. A human engineer described building solar sails. The Siron gardeners listened, their eyes reflecting Earth's bright sun. A Siron musician explained how she wove light into song. Human violinists leaned closer, eager to learn the patterns of her melody. Lena moved from table to table, introducing Earth chefs to Siron herbalists. She showed them how a simple tomato could add warmth to a stew, and they revealed how a glowing vine leaf could color a sauce. Each exchange brought smiles and shared gasps of wonder. At the center of the garden stood a long table reserved for the queen's guests of honor. Lena took her seat beside Mirasha, both of them under a canopy of floating lanterns that drifted like slow fireflies. Servants brought them crystal goblets filled with a pale blue wine that tasted of moonlight and honey. Queen Mirasha raised her goblet. To friendship between Earth and Siron. She toasted, her voice soft but joyful. Light rippled through the wine, and Lena felt the warmth of that bond in her chest. To new beginnings, Lena answered, and she drained her cup. A burst of bubbles tickled her throat. She smiled at the queen. "Your people's hospitality is more beautiful than I imagined." Mirasha inclined her head. "And your spirit of sharing matches our own. I would like us to continue this exchange." Lena's eyes lit up. "I have an idea," she said. "On Earth, we have dance schools where people learn steps and share art. What if we open an academy together? In each world, dancers from both species could come to learn the Unity Dance." The queen's smile widened. A shared academy for humans and Siron, traveling from planet to planet. Yes. They spoke late into the banquet, sketching plans on holopads. Lena drew simple diagrams of Earth's great theaters and open-air stages. Mirasha added notes about floating gardens and zero-G studios. They imagined a ship with two dance floors, one with earthwood panels, the other made of living crystal. All around them, guests cheered at the promise of schools that would travel between worlds. Musicians began to play the new Unity melody, and dancers rose to show the first steps. Lena watched a young Siron child stumble and then laugh as a human teen guided her through a turn. The lights under their feet glowed in shared gold and green. As the night sky of Arcadia Prime glowed through the crystal dome, Lena realized they had planted seeds that would grow into a forest of friendship. The banquet of shared cultures was more than a meal. It was the start of a living tapestry woven by two peoples. When the last guest left, Lena and Mirasha walked through the gardens hand in hand. Lanterns dimmed, but the aerith blooms still shone. "Thank you, Captain," the queen whispered. "Tonight was unforgettable." Lena squeezed her hand. "It's only the beginning." And with that, they left the banquet hall together, ready to bring their shared dream to every corner of the galaxy. At the edge of the orbital platform, the twin ships, the human cruiser Eos Rising and the Xiron exchange vessel Luminous Spire, glowed side by side under Arcadia Prime's pale dawn. Captain Lena Reyes stood beside Queen Mirasha at the docking bay's transparent wall. The two ships had become symbols of a new bond, and now their time together was drawing to a close. Around them, crew and attendants moved quietly, preparing for departure. Lena checked her uniform, smoothing the folds where her Stardust sash had been. Mirasha adjusted the crystal pendant at her throat, its gem pulsing with soft light. The gift had taken shape in the final hours of the visit, a living crystal that held a piece of the Unity Dance's melody. The Queen turned to Lena, her silver filament hair drifting like soft mist. "Captain Reyes," she said, her voice carrying both joy and a hint of sadness. "Thank you for your friendship, for your steps in our dance, and for your open heart." Lena bowed her head in respect. "Your Majesty, you have shown me so much beauty, your people's art, your world's wonder. I carry these memories back to Earth and beyond." She held out her hand. "I hope we will meet again." Mirasha reached out, clasping Lena's hand warmly. Their eyes met in a shared promise. "Whenever you wish to dance among the stars, call upon me," the Queen whispered. The pendant at Lena's throat shimmered in answer, as if alive. A soft chime marked the opening of the docking clamps. Lena's crew gathered behind her, faces bright with hope. Lieutenant Omar Chen gave her a quick salute. Cultural liaison Blanca Vega stood close by, clutching the crystal device that stored the dance sequences. Each member of the Eos Rising team felt the weight of history in that moment. Lena straightened and faced the crew. "Bring us home," she said, voice steady but warm. The engines responded with a gentle hum that matched the Queen's melodic tone. Outside the bay's transparent doors, the stars beckoned. Before stepping aboard, Lena turned back to Mirasha. "Our academy will travel far," she said. "Humans and Xiron, learning side by side. Soon, dancers from many worlds will carry our Unity dance across the galaxy." The Queen's smile glowed like dawn light. "And in each world, our song will weave new friendships." With that, Lena stepped onto the Eos Rising. The airlock doors slid shut, and the platform's lights dimmed. Through the small viewport, Lena saw Mirasha standing tall and radiant, the crystal dome of Luminous Spire behind her like a crown. As the Eos Rising glided away, Lena watched the dock recede. The Chiron platform shone briefly, then faded into the glow of the planet's morning mist. Inside, the crew cheered softly. Lena closed her eyes and let the quiet tears fall. Tears of joy for their new friend. Tears of hope for the future. Down the corridor, Blanca tapped her device and whispered, "Ready to practice the next sequence, Captain." Lena smiled through her tears and nodded. "Show me, liaison. Let's dance with the stars once more." On the bridge, Lena took her seat. The Stardust pendant lay against her heart, pulsing in time with her breath. Ahead, the stars stretched into lines of light as the ship slipped into faster-than-light drive. And so the Eos Rising carried humanity's first steps in an interstellar friendship, steps guided by music, by memory, and by the simple, timeless joy of dancing together.